But literally, I mean, right now, I'm holding pretty hard. Let me readjust it. Okay, guys, this is a perfect example right here. Look, I'm even holding down, and it's... See, this is ridiculous. This is so frustrating. Look at that. I'm pressing it as hard as I can. Okay, so eventually I get it, but really, all I'm trying to do is put the volume up, and all that effort just to put the volume up. Hey guys, so this phone, the HTC U12 Plus, is the worst buttons for any phone I've ever owned. And I'm not just saying that to be dramatic. Actually, no guys, not any phone, just any device in general. Any device, this is the worst buttons for anything. And again, I'm not just saying that to be dramatic, but you really have to know before you buy the phone just how bad the buttons are. Now, this phone technically does not have real buttons, they're digital touch sensitive. And if you ever use the iPhone 7 or the 8, then you know what I'm talking about with it. If you ever use the home button for those phones. So with this phone, you have 3 buttons. Again, guys, they are digital right there, right there, and right there. And it's a power button, volume down, and volume up. Now, the button on the iPhone is actually pretty good. It's responsive and feels nice when you press it. But of course, not the case for the HTC. Now, the buttons on the HTC have 2 major problems with them. So, one, they're extremely uncomfortable and they always feel like they're jammed. So, just for example, I have a GameCube controller and I played Smash Bros. Too much for that. So, if I press the buttons now, they're completely jammed in and very uncomfortable to press. But at least for that, the buttons actually still work. And that leads me to my second problem with this phone. The buttons are extremely random. A lot of times these buttons don't work if you press them. Or you accidentally press them and it's way too sensitive. So I'll just give 3 examples from this week. So for one, I had to get a traveling visa application. And as part of that, I had to go to a building and turn off my phone before I went through security. And with this, guys, I tried holding down the power button 3 times on it. So right there it worked, but I tried it 3 times, it did not work. And I was getting extremely frustrated with it because, you know, I'm just standing in line and there's people behind me waiting and I can't even like power up my phone. It's ridiculous. Now, generally it does work. I mean, as you guys see, if I press it right now, it does work. But a lot of times it doesn't, and you really have to press it at the exact right point for it to work well. So for another example, I was in a crowded place and it was pretty quiet. And I pressed on a YouTube video by accident. And for that, all I want to do is I just want to turn the volume down. You know, like if you're at work or in class or something, you press on a video or audio, whatever. All you want to do is you just want to turn on the volume. And it took like several tries just to turn on the volume. It took a lot longer. Now, is that a big deal? No, it's not a big deal. But, you know, it's the type of thing, if you have this phone for a few years, it's going to get pretty annoying. So really, I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally pressed these buttons too, because they're extremely sensitive. Or, as I said, they're not sensitive enough. It's just pretty random. There's been so many times when, I don't even know how, but just somehow the buttons get pressed, the volume rocker, the power button, all the time, the screen goes off. And again, guys, I do want to stress, it will get better the more you use the phone. You'll learn just to basically not touch that area at all. Just keep your fingers as far away from the buttons as possible, unless you really have to use some. But especially at the beginning, you will press them a lot by accident. Now, this is the big problem, because everything I just said, that's with the case off. So if you have a case, you put it on and it covers the buttons, it's just not going to work well at all. So definitely, if you get a case for this, do not get any type of case that covers the buttons. And, you know, the problem with that is you leave the side exposed, so it's not an ideal type of case. I mean, right now, guys, I'm holding down, volume up. This is just, okay, so if I readjust a bit, then it works. But literally, I mean, right now, I'm holding pretty hard. Let me readjust it. Okay, guys, this is a perfect example right here. Look, I'm even holding down, and it's... See, this is ridiculous. This is so frustrating. Look at that. I'm pressing it as hard as I can. Okay, so eventually I get it, but really, all I'm trying to do is put the volume up, and all that effort just to put the volume up. Now, typically, guys, it is better than that. But a lot of times it's not. Oh. Yeah, so especially the volume up. The volume up is the worst. And a lot of people do talk about this, guys, but you really need a full video on this just to look at this. This is ridiculous, man. Yeah, we really need a full video on this just to outline how bad the buttons are. And it hurts also, like you keep pressing it harder and harder and it hurts your finger. So, I mean, also it took me a really long time to figure out how to screenshot because on most phones, you press the power button and volume down at the same time. But on this, you can't do that. And it took me a while to figure this out, but instead, you have to hold down the power button. And then you have to press the home. So you actually did it too late there. I mean, you get used to it, but basically you just have to press on the power button, hold down on it, and press the home button right there to take a screenshot. So it works okay. I mean, you can also double tap like this. You actually have to go into settings to assign an action for it, but yeah, it's another way to take a screenshot. But yeah, I mean, it does work, just not as responsive. Now, pretty much every single review I've seen of this have, they've been pretty cruel to the buttons. Everyone hates them. But really, you have to make this very, very clear because people don't know. You know, I mean, when you're looking for a new phone, you don't think, are the buttons good on it? Nobody thinks that. So, yeah, guys, I felt the video was pretty necessary to make. Now, is this a deal breaker for the phone? Not necessarily. As I said, you will get more used to them, but they still are terrible. I mean, I don't think anything's going to change that. And I would say the rest of the phone is actually pretty good. And if you haven't seen my comparison versus the iPhone 10 yet, definitely check that out. We'll put a link in the top right corner. But I would say definitely at least test out the buttons before you buy the phone. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. And let me know in the comments if you have any questions about it.